All right, we have one other thing to show you before you go, Nate, because I know we are up against time with you. But it concerns George Russell and a tweet of his. If we can go ahead and get that. There we go.
Yeah, so this is a
Oh,
tweet
this is a new
of
one.
all the George
Yeah.
Russell things that he said this year in radio messages. This weekend, I believe, was when he said he was poodling around out there, and that's
Yeah.
poodle with a Pootling. And a few of these sayings, if you're not watching this, it's up on screen right now. A few of these are not things that we say here in the States. So can you define a couple of these for us? What is
Of
poodling
course.
around?
So poodling around, I've used that before. I've got to be honest. Poodling, I think just is basically what he was doing in Monaco. Just I don't know what the verb to poodle would be in the Oxford Dictionary, but it's just going extremely slowly. Kind of poodling. I don't know where that's come from. I've just learned that from my parents. Um,
Like puttering around, perhaps.
Kind
Sounds
of,
like it,
yeah.
yeah.
I think it's come from that, and it's just one of those silly English words that sounds silly, and we say it, and we enjoy saying it. Um, and George
Huh.
Russell saying it because with the way George Russell says things was also very enjoyable.
How about fiddly fingers?
Fiddly fingers. That's one of the ones I looked at. I've never heard that. I've never heard fiddly fingers in my
So you just
life.
made this one
And
up.
that's
Yeah, so
just
I
that
think, I
might be a
mean,
George Russell original.
it might be. Yeah. Yeah. So that was the one. That one. I looked and I was like, I don't really, but the rest of them, I kind of, that's how we roll, baby, as well. I was like, that's the least English one of these because that
That's
sounds like something.
That's a
no,
Midwest dad. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
an
yeah,
American.
exactly.
That's my dad when he signs the check at a restaurant. He says, "Ready to rock and roll," and we all stand up and leave. That's yeah.
yeah,
Oh, that's that,
that is by the way the one that sounds weirdest coming out of his mouth. It just
yeah,
is not.
that's how we roll, baby. Sounds a
Yeah.
bit like Austin Powers, doesn't it?
Yeah,
A
I was about to say
little
that.
bit, yeah.
Um, there's a few good ones there. I mean, Wowzer. I don't know if that's has that not made it across the pond. I think Wowzers are
No,
great.
it's again like it's. I wouldn't say that it's used often, but if there is a middle-aged dad George Russell overlap, I think with
Yeah,
Yeah,
Wowza.
there's a lot of that.
Yeah.
yeah.
And crikey and blimey, I always kind of took as like Australian slang words.
Well, crikey is, but I think blimey is definitely English.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
You're right.
but
You're right.
yeah, like blimey. I grew up in Essex, and you hear a lot of blimey. Blimey is kind of one of the big words. What I will say as well is ifs and buts and carrots and nuts. I have heard lots of variations of that. People change the last carrots and
Hmm.
nuts to different things. Some of them I don't want to, disgrace your podcast by
Hmm.
saying. So, but
Thank
yeah,
you.
so there's lots of different variations of those things. Um, and oh my word as well is, and one thing that should be on there is to be fair, because I think he says that all the
A
time. And
lot.
I've noticed I say that on a regular basis, like an English throwaway thing, like, well, to be fair, and then you just say something that you didn't
Say
need to say
something
to
that
be
isn't
fair.
fair. Yeah.
You
Right.
didn't need to caveat it with that, yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. This has been
But
very
there's
educational.
No, I think we reviewed the entire George Russell
Silly
lexicon.
buggers.
Although
I like silly buggers.
yeah,
he's been
silly buggers is great. I mean, and that one you can like if you're driving on the motorway and it's like, oh, they were playing silly buggers in front of us. It means two drivers are just kind of like they're both driving in a completely ridiculous way. I mean, you don't even have to be on the road for that. It just means it. I mean, yeah, it kind of it does what it says on the tin is another English phrase. Like, do you guys say that? Like that's
no,
one of
but
my
I
No.
like that.
that's one of my favorite ones. One day I'm going to do a show where I just talk to an American and just say English phrases that I just use and then get the laugh out of them because
Oh
I really
man, I
enjoy it when
volunteer
Americans
as
hear
tribute. I love
yeah
that.
hear English phrases for the first time. It's you
Oh,
like
my mom
yeah
had a good one, Nate, which came from somebody that she was working at her shop, and she had a lady from, I believe, Yorkshire, who described two guys who were both the same kind of freewheeling kind of dude. Said, yeah, those are two cheeks off the same ass. Yeah.
yeah that's
Two,
that's a good one. And
yeah.
also a quick secret about England: the further north you get in England, the better their phrases get like that. So in London, I mean, London, you do get Cockney rhyming slang, which is a whole other episode. But the further north you get, the more their phrases just become absolute poetry. It's probably why, like, Shakespeare did his best writing when he was up north, for example. He just made it up as he went. Because, yeah, just hearing all kinds of crazy things.